Joachim, welcome.
Joachim.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Hello. Bye, Joachim.
Hi.
Anirudh.
Hello.
Nice to meet
Thank you
you.
very much. Greetings
Joachim,
greetings
Good
to
night, Joachim
India.
from.
Greetings to India.
Thank you, Matt.
and I introduce you our new president, Angela Cozza.
Welcome, Joachim.
Nice to meet you.
I look forward to your presentation and I'm sure it will be very, very interesting for us. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Your research on consciousness is very important, not only for SIPMU, and you know, we are recording this webinar because we will translate it in Italian
Yeah.
to share with all the colleagues.
Yeah.
Your very important work.
That's a good idea. I do my very best.
You will do, I know. Joachim, do you want to try to share your slide?
Yeah, I can share them.
I'm so curious to understand what is the 0-point field.
I have my spiritual idea about the connection between physics and spirituality. Anirudh, the same is also in Hindu philosophy.
Sure. I think it's common to all religions. But it's speculative, Paola. It's still not scientifically proven, God.
Yes.
Whatever. So I'd rather stick to, I'd like to stick today to the physics and to the understanding of the brain. So that's science, but the metaphysical level is, well, I touch it, but not too much.
I know you, and I know your thoughts. But you know that by clinical hypnosis, we can go through spirituality and touch it.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are anticipating the science of the future, maybe.
Yeah. Joachim is anticipating the science of the future.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that it will play a dominant role in the 21st century. Actually, we are just beginning to understand what consciousness actually means and how we approach it. So, yeah, I think we are in the in the childhood, so to speak, in the childhood, in the early steps of this research topic, and are just starting to really bring together the conceptual resources to understand consciousness.
Very interesting. So, what is our brain? Is just a sort of computer that could read that 0-point field?
Connects to the field. Yeah.
Connects. Okay.
That's the basic. That's the basic idea behind it, and I try to show this evening that there is a lot of scientific evidence that this is the case.
And what do you think about artificial intelligence? Is it able to connect to the 0-point field too?
Yeah, in principle, yes. So present day computing devices and present day AI does not connect, but in future, once we have fully understood the connection and the coupling mechanism, it will, I think, be very likely to copy the mechanism and bring it to an artificial system. So that's
wow.
I think that's will be possible. Yeah.
It will be a very expanded consciousness of
depending on the interface. I mean, we have in this picture some kind of interface to the field, and now it depends, of course, on the interface that we give to this artificial creature.
Yeah.
And this, the organization and the architecture of this interface will determine the spectrum, so to speak, of conscious experiences.
Very
Can be very
interesting.
narrow.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But that's future. I mean, just an outlook. You will see I touch this topic also in my talk, but not in depth. I just want to concentrate on what we know about the brain.
It is very interesting, your work, Joachim.
Do you have any idea about the starting, the start point of the 0 point field?
What do you mean by start point?
Yeah.
Part of the construction plan of the universe.
Oh.
I mean, that's a big question now.
Yeah.
Why this field? It's
Yeah,
there. So the answer is, it's in my understanding, at least at the same level as energy. You can ask the big question: why is there anything rather than nothing? Why is there anything at all? Why is there energy in the universe? And I think we are touching here the same level of metaphysical final question. Why is this field, why does a field exist at all? But I cannot answer this question. The answer I can give you, once there is a field, and once we know how to describe the field, we can do serious physics and serious science with it, and we can understand what is going on in the brain. So that's the scientific aspect. Without touching the big question, why is it that this field exists at all?
Yeah.
We cannot answer this question. No. I at least cannot answer it.
Thank you. Of course.
We have also friends from Ukraine. Welcome, Inna. Welcome, Inna, and welcome, Marina from Ukraine.
Welcome.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi.
Even if I know your job, Joachim, every time I think is always much more interesting.
Yeah, it's
Because
growing, of course. Yeah.
yes, every time I can understand more.
Okay.
I think that we can start. I can introduce you.
Yes.
I am very happy this evening to introduce you Dr. Joachim Keppler. He is a physicist specializing in quantum field theory, and he is a research director at the DIWISS Department of Consciousness Research in Germany. And his field of studies is that the conscious states and consciousness arise from the coupling of the brain to the 0 point field. Thank you so much, Dr. Keppler, to participate to our SIPMU webinar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. Good evening. My name is Joachim Keppler, representing the DIWISS Research Institute, and it's a pleasure for me to give a presentation to this group. So welcome to my talk about consciousness and the zero-point field, or more specifically about how conscious states arise from the coupling of the brain to the zero-point field. So the agenda of the talk is as follows. I will start with a brief introduction to consciousness. Then I will give an overview of physics, more specifically about the foundations of physics, including the zero-point field. After that, we will take a look at the neurophysiological characteristics of consciousness. Then I come to the core of my presentation. I will present a model, my model, that sheds new light on the fundamental principle behind conscious processes. And finally, I will discuss the implications of this model for a deeper understanding of consciousness. So this is a program. So let's start with a brief introduction to consciousness. And for this purpose, I would first of all like to set the scene and clarify what I understand by consciousness. And actually, I thought about it to how to convey it to you. It's actually not so easy to give an absolute, uncontroversial definition of consciousness. That's even not possible in the community of consciousness researchers. That's why I would like to start with a picture. And well, this is me. And just like all of you in the audience, I'm a sentient being who is endowed with an inner experiential world. And this means that we experience conscious states. And the defining characteristics of conscious states are phenomenal qualities, so-called qualia, meaning that a state of consciousness is always distinguished by the presence of qualia, which could, for example, be a taste of a strawberry, or the experience of a colorful sunset, or just a moment of happiness that experienced while this picture was taken. So to be in a conscious state means to have phenomenal inner qualities. Okay, so much for humans. But for some years now, consciousness is also a hot topic in the field of artificial intelligence, as there are now robots with advanced perceptual capabilities and human-like behavior. And now the really big question is the following, namely, if a robot, like for example here Sophia, a robot developed in the Hanson Robotics Labs in the US, if such a robot looks happy and talks about happiness, what it really does here in a scene, you could watch a movie about this robot looking happy and talking about happiness. The big question is, does this robot really have a moment of happiness? Are we really dealing here with a sentient being that enjoys moments of happiness? And surprisingly, we cannot answer this question with absolute certainty at the moment. And this is because we still know too little about consciousness. So there is this big question, is this robot really conscious? You may infer this from asking the robot. You may derive this from looking at the gestures and the face of the robot, but that would never give you a reliable answer. And to reach a state of certainty, to really assess whether a robot is conscious or not, we need, and that's now the crucial and the critical point, we need to understand the mechanism behind conscious systems. So as long, that's the message here, as long as we do not understand how a conscious system really works, we cannot reliably assess whether this robot is conscious or not. And this is now the big journey I would like to go along with you. So let's embark on such a journey that aims to unveil the fundamental principle behind conscious processes.